Okay. Good morning, dear devotees. Hare Krishna. Please accept my humble obeisances. So, today I was asked, Hare Krishna, good morning. Today I was asked to tell something about Akrura's arrival to Vrindavan. It is 38th chapter of 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. And today we are going to read one verse. And we will try to analyze the whole chapter as far as it will be possible. Where it is? Just one moment. 11th verse. This one. So we will read this verse and then we will try to analyze the whole situation. Hare Krishna. Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, chapter 38, verse number 11. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya, Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Verse number 11. Ya ikshitaham rahito pyasat satoh svateja sapastatamo bida brahmach svamaya yatman rachitaestat ikshaya pranaksha dhibhih sadanesh abiyate. Translation and purport written by disciples, beloved and humble disciples of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. One moment again. Some technical. He is the witness of material cause and effect, yet he is always free from false identification with them. By his internal potency, he dispels the darkness of separation and confusion. The individual souls in this world who are manifested here, when he glances upon his material creative energy, indirectly perceive him in the activities of their life heirs, senses, and intelligence. It is how Akrura describes Krishna's glory. Purport. In this verse, Akrura establishes the all-powerful position of the Supreme Lord, whom he is about to see in Vrindavana. The false concept of separation from the Lord is described in the 11th canto of Bhagavatam 11 to 37. Bayam dvitiya bini veshatach syat, ishad apetasya viparyayo smritihi. Although all existence emanates from the absolute truth Krishna, we imagine a second thing, this material world, to be entirely separate from the Lord's existence. With this mentality, we try to exploit that second thing for our sense gratification. Thus, the psychological underpinning of material life is the illusion that this world is somehow separated from God and therefore meant for our enjoyment. This is ironic that the impersonal philosophers, in their radical renunciation of this world, claim it to be utterly false and totally separate from the Absolute. Unfortunately, this artificial attempt to divest this world of its divine nature, or in other words, its relation to God, doesn't lead people to utterly reject it, but rather to try to enjoy it. While it is true that this world is temporary and thus in one sense illusory, the mechanism of illusion is the spiritual potency of Supreme Lord. Realizing this, we should immediately desist from any attempt to exploit this world. Rather, we should recognize it as God's energy. We will actually give up our material desires only when we understand that this world belongs to God and is therefore not meant for our selfish gratification. The word abhiyate here refers to a process of surmissing the presence of the Lord through meditative introspection. This process is also described in the second canto of Bhagavatam 2.235. Bhagavan Sarvabhuteshu, Lakshitach Svatmana Harich, Drishyar Budhya Dibhih Drashta, Lakshanair Anumapakai. The personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna, is in every living being, along with the individual soul. And this fact is perceived and hypnotized in our acts of seeing and taking help from the intelligence. Akrura states that the Lord is free of the egoistic pride afflicting ordinary embodied souls. Yet the Lord appears to be embodied like everyone else, and therefore someone might object to the statement that he is free of egoism. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti comments on this puzzle as follows. How can we distinguish between being free of false ego and being afflicted by it? If a living entity is situated in a body, argues the objector, he will encounter the unhappiness and confusion that occurs within it just as a person living in a house, whether he be attached to it or not, cannot avoid experiencing the darkness, warmth, and cold that occur within it, within the house. This objection is answered as follows. By his internal potency, the Lord dispels the darkness of ignorance, along with the separateness and bewilderment it produces. Om Agena Timirandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yana Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Svairupa Kadama Yam Dadati Svapadantikam Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripasinubhya Eva Cha Patitanam Pavanabhyo Vaishnavabhyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Adigaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So there is internal part of this story, there is external part of this story. External part means the circumstances. Because of the particular circumstances, Akrura has to go to Vrindavan because he was sent by Kamsa to go there and to take Krishna and Balarama to the destination which Kamsa told to Akrura. So externally, he was Kamsa's messenger, but internally, he was worshipping to Krishna. He was able to understand, Akrura is able to understand that Krishna is Supreme Personality of Godhead. We live in this material world. And as Srila Prabhupada usually mentions, our goal is to get best use from bad bargain. Bad bargain means where in material world we have material body, and material body goes through Janma Mrityu Jara Vyadhi, goes through samsara. And we can get best use from this by using this material body in devotional service. So the same way, Akrura is using this opportunity to go to Krishna's place according to Kamsa's order. Kamsa is not a best person in this narration, as we know. He is on the dark side of existence, on the dark side of this story. So externally he has to follow Kamsa's order, but internally he is meditating on Krishna during the whole traveling. Before he achieves the Krishna's abode, he is meditating on Krishna. And it is the process how we can meet Supreme Lord in our life. The same way, first we practice Shravanam, Kirtanam, Smaranam. We have to prepare ourselves for this meeting. So the same way, when we are about to meet some important person of this material world, for example, we're invited to some place to meet some VIP. It is not that you can immediately meet VIP. Usually you prepare yourself, yourselves that, oh, I will meet such important person, and so we get particular state of mind before meeting this important person. The same way, for example, pujaris in our ISKCON temples, before they go on the altar, they recite these prayers that we call Bhuta Shuddhi. Bhuta Shuddhi means the cleansing of the mind, cleansing of the existence. Means Pujari, before he enters the altar, he reminds himself that he is not Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, Shudra, Brahmachari, Grihastha, Vanaprastha, Sannyasi. He is just Gopi Bartur, Padakamalayur, Dasa Dasa Anudasa. So anyway, it goes almost automatically. It goes almost automatically when something important is going to happen in our life. We have such feeling that we have to prepare for this. We have to prepare ourselves for this situation or this meeting, and so on and so on. And some kind of attunement is needed. Basically, it is needed in many situations of our life. If we know that we have to have some serious and maybe not so much pleasant talk with someone, with some colleagues on our job, or with some of our relatives, again, almost automatically we prepare ourselves that, okay, this talk will not be easy. What should I do? What arguments should I prepare for this talk? So the same way, before visiting Krishna's place and before meeting Krishna, Akrura, he is meditating on Krishna, he is meditating on his position, and it is the process which we also can follow. And ultimately, he comes to the point that, okay, I was sent by this demoniac person named Kamsa, I was sent there to meet Krishna. And demonic person, he has his own demoniac motives that he sent me to Krishna. But now I became absolutely independent from Kamsa's opinion on what I'm doing, on Kamsa's opinion how I'm going to interact with Krishna. I'm going to interact with Krishna as with my beloved Supreme Personality of Godhead. So the same way, when we progress in Krishna consciousness, it is also natural that we become more or less indifferent to vox populi. Vox populi means public opinion about spiritual subject matters, because usually people in general, they are not so much competent, they are not so much knowledgeable in these subject matters. Usually most of people, especially in Kali Yuga, they are quite ignorant people. And our goal and our mission is to enlighten people, is to give them spiritual knowledge by quoting some Shastra, by showing our own example. And in such way, their lives become enlivened and blessed by presence of Supreme Lord in form of Shastra, in form of holy name. So this process, which we usually follow in order to become closer to Krishna and in order to prepare ourselves to meet Krishna, is described in this verse from the 3rd canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. 3, 9, 11. Tvam bhakti yoga paribhavita hritsa roja, ase shrutekshita patho nanu natha pumsam, yadya diyata urugaya vibhavayanti, tatadva puh pranayase sat anugrahaya. Which means, O my Lord, your devotees can see you through the ears by the process of bona fide hearing, and thus their hearts become cleansed, and you take your seat there. There means in their hearts. You are so merciful to your devotees that you manifest yourself in the particular eternal form of transcendence in which they always think of you. And in the purport, Srila Prabhupada writes such things that Lord manifests himself before the devotee in the form in which the devotee likes to worship him, indicates that the Lord becomes subordinate to the desire of the devotee so much so that he manifests his particular form as the devotee demands. This demand of the devotee is satisfied by the Lord because he is pliable in terms of the transcendental loving service of the devotee. Means he is Svatantara Ishvara in one sense, means he is totally independent, and at the same time he is dependent on sincerity and love that devotees express to him on their elevated stages of their spiritual advancement. We should note, however, that the Lord is never the order supplier of the devotee. Also, it goes all together. He is happy, Krishna is happy to fulfill the desires of his sincere devotee, and at the same time, devotee is not about to consider Supreme Lord to be his order supplier. To consider Supreme Lord to be our order supplier, it is a serious philosophical mistake. And some people, they are trying to build their spiritual faith on the basis of this understanding that if Supreme Lord, he executes my desires, fulfills my desires, it is the best proof that he exists. It is the best proof. But philosophical mistake is such that this sambandha is wrong, because to believe that Supreme Lord exists, it's not just about that I just believe that he exists. It is not just about to accept his existence. It is also about to accept his position. And his position is not that he is order supplier. He is Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam Sarvaloka Maheshwaram. It is the opposite philosophy. Bhoktaram Yagyatapasam means he is Bhokta, he is supreme enjoyer, and all yagyas, all tapasyas, everything should be dedicated to Supreme Lord. He is not order supplier. He is the opposite. The case is opposite. He is Bhokta. He is supreme Bhokta. He is supreme enjoyer. And Bhakta, there is Bhakta, there is Bhokta, and they should meet each other. And then their union will be very much harmonious from the spiritual point of view. It is Sambandha. Sambandha means understanding who is Lord, who is, what is material world, and who we are, and how everything is interrelated. So Shraddha, or faith, means not just that I believe that Supreme Lord exists. It means also that I have clear understanding of his position, of my position, of the influence and nature of material world, how everything is going. Because as far as we know, some people, they can claim, they can say, they can declare that they are believers. They are believers. They are religious people. And what is the proof? The proof is that I just believe that Supreme Lord exists. But what I'm going to do with this? Am I going to change something in my life if I believe that he exists? Not obviously. Not obviously. So here, in this verse, number 3, 9, 11, it is explained if someone is astikyam, religious person, what he is meant to do, what he should do. Because he is not sufficient. It is not sufficient just to believe that he exists. It means if he exists, if Supreme Lord exists, then I should do something with this. And there is word Shrutekshita. Shrutekshita means Shrutekshita path. Shrutekshita path is to hear from bona fide devotees who are conversant with Vedic wisdom, free from mundane sentiment. By this bona fide hearing process, the neophyte devotee becomes cleansed from all material rubbish, and thus he becomes attached to one of the many transcendental forms of the Lord as described in the Vedas. So it goes all together. Sambandha abhideya prayojana. Sambandha means he is not order supplier, means we are servants of Supreme Lord. And prayojana means to achieve spiritual abode, but there are some goals in between, and one of the goals to become attached to one of the many transcendental forms of the Lord. It is prayojana, some kind of prayojana, some kind of goals, and there is abhideya, or what to do for this, and for this shrutekshita path. Shrutekshita path is prescribed. So all these situations that we are reading about in the 10th canto of Bhagavatam, it took place 5,000 years ago. It was quite a long time ago. It is old story. It is old story. And Akrura was one who personally knew Krishna. And maybe we also know Krishna, but maybe we even have seen him in one of our past lives. Maybe yes, maybe no, we don't know. But anyway, now we usually we don't remember this experience. And so if Akrura, he was able to know Krishna personally, and because of that he had memory of his qualities, and just because of his personal association with Supreme Lord, our situation is such that we get this understanding and we get this memory of Supreme Lord by reading Srimad Bhagavatam, where Supreme Lord is described and his activities are also described. Krishna Svadhamu Pagate, Dharma Gyanadi Pchik Saha, Kalau Nishta Drishamesha, Puranarko Dhunoditaha. Krishna Svadhamu Pagate, he went back to his spiritual abode. He manifested his leelas 5,000 years ago, and then he went back to his spiritual abode. And because of that, the whole world was in the darkness of ignorance, in the darkness of nescience. And in order to save the suffering humanity of Kali Yuga from this darkness of nescience, for that purpose, the same time when Krishna went to his spiritual abode, the same time Srimad Bhagavatam, who is brilliant as a sun, Srimad Bhagavatam came on the same planet where we are residing now, on the same planet. And now, because of this light which is emanating from Srimad Bhagavatam, now because of this light, the inhabitants of material world in Kali Yuga, they are able to see something, because Srimad Bhagavatam gives proper vision, and nothing else gives proper vision. All other ways to when one is trying to perceive this world without this spiritual knowledge, it is just illusion. It is just different forms of illusion. So this Shrutekshata path is described here in this verse 3, 9, 11, and it is also described in another verse, which number is 284. And now we're going to read this verse also, 284. And in this verse, Shrutekshata path is described in more details. Shrinvatach Shradaya Nityam Grinataschas Vacheshthitam Kalena Natidиркина Bhagavan Vishate Hridi, which means that it will not, many times, too much time will not be required. It will not take much time, Kalena Natidиркина, for a listener, for one who is practicing Shravanam process. It will not take much time for Supreme Lord, Bhagavan Vishate Hridi, for Supreme Lord to be situated, to become situated, vishate, to become manifest, vishate, in one's hridi, in one's heart. Bhagavan vishate hridi. Not so much time is required for this, for Supreme Lord to become manifested in one's heart because of Shravanam process, if this Shravanam process is performed in proper way. Shrinvatah Shradaya Nityam, Grinatashchasva Cheshtitam. So some rules are described here. Shradaya means with faith, means I believe that this book, which is called Srimad Bhagavatam, is worthy for my attention. And I also believe that words of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada and words that emanating from the lotus lips of spiritual master, it is also worthy to listen about. Shradaya means faith, faith in spiritual message and faith in particular person through which we get this spiritual message. Nityam means regularly or always. And because we are busy people, we cannot listen about Krishna always. Usually we have some other things to do, so Nityam can be also explained as regularly, means every day something should be read, at least one or two shlokas from Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam, just to feed our soul, to feed ourselves as we are souls, to feed the soul. We feed our stomachs, right? Where we feed our stomachs. Amita Balaram Prabhuji. We feed our stomachs every day, right? We feed our stomachs every day, but it is not that this desire to feed ourselves from spiritual point of view by listening spiritual message every day. It is not that it is so natural for us as our habit to eat food, to take food every day. So sometimes there is interest to listen something about Krishna. Sometimes there is no interest. But anyway, we should listen about Krishna. Shrinvatах Shradaya Nityam, Гринаташ час вачешти там, колено на Тидиркина, Бхагаван Вишате Хриди. Shradaya means with faith, Nityam means on regular basis, and Grinatash час вачешти там means trying to understand what it is all about, or how it is translated here. Persons who hear Srimad Bhagavatam regularly and are always taking the matter very seriously will have the personality of Godhead Shri Krishna manifested in their hearts within a short time. So it means we should take the matter very seriously when we listen Srimad Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita, Grinatash Svacheshtitam. And also, Grinatash Svacheshtitam means that we put our own endeavors to understand the meaning of the spiritual message, means Shastric meaning and also practical meaning, means how we are going to implement this knowledge in our own life. And in such way, when Supreme Lord, He is able to see that we are trying to understand the meaning of this spiritual message for ourselves from practical point of view also, He gives us more intelligence to understand more how to use it, how to use this knowledge in our day-to-day life. Tesham satata yuktanam, Bhajatam priti purvakam, dadami buddhi yogam tam, yena mamu payantite. He gives this intelligence for a sincere seeker of spiritual knowledge. He is trying to help us. We should help ourselves, right? We should help ourselves. And Krishna will be helping us also. And Akrura is still on the path to Krishna. He goes there, and we will read some verses from this chapter number 38, some more verses, and then I'm going to take your questions also. So this is chapter number 38. Okay, visible. Is it visible? Okay, visible. So some verses from here. And of course, we're very much fortunate that Gauranga Darshan Prabhu, he published this book, Bhagavata Subhadhini, 10th Canto, part number 2. So the whole structure of this chapter number 38 is there in this volume, in this book. And you can order these books written by Gauranga Darshan Prabhu. You can order these books on Amazon, or you can take it in your bookshop, in your temple, if it is available. Books are very nice. And so according to this book, some verses are really important for our today's discussion. For example, verse number 7. And in verse number 7, Akrura is saying, "Indeed, today King Kamsa has shown me extreme mercy by sending me to see the lotus feet of Lord Hari, who has now appeared in this world. Simply by the effulgence of his toenails, many souls in the past have transcended the unsurmountable darkness of material existence and achieved liberation." So, you see, it is our approach, Vaishnava approach, means we're trying to get best use from bad bargain. From external point of view, it is not the best situation when someone is under, someone has to follow the order of demoniac person. Akrura has to follow the order of Kamsa. Kamsa sent him to Krishna, to Krishna's place. So from external point of view, it is not good because Kamsa is a demon, but because Akrura, he knows the position of Supreme Lord, he can take best use from this bad bargain. He can. That's why he is happy. He is happy. Akrura is happy. And in purport, Srila Prabhupada's disciples, they write, Akrura noted how ironic it was that the envious demoniac Kamsa has given him an extraordinary blessing by sending him to see the Supreme Lord Krishna. So sometimes some circumstances or situations that externally seems to be abhadra, right? Abhadra means not beneficial for us. But sincere devotee, sometimes he is able to see benefit, to see blessing, supreme blessing from Supreme Lord, spiritual blessing, which is there in this particular situation. Like, for example, there is Chaitanya Lila, when Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates, they had their kirtanas in Srivasangan, house of Srivas Thakur. And when you go to Mayapur, you can see this Srivasangan, you can visit this place. So one Brahmana, proud Brahmana, he was not allowed to take part in these kirtanas. Basically, almost no one was allowed to take part in these confidential kirtanas, because it was meant for Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates only. And this proud Brahmana, he met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu next morning, and he told them, yesterday night, I was not able to attend your kirtan. I was not allowed to enter. And because of that, I curse you, you will not have any material happiness in this life. And and Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he just expressed his gratitude to this proud Brahmana for this so-called curse, because actually it is blessing for sincere devotee that he will not be attracted by any external object for his sense gratification, sense enjoyment. So from point of view of pure devotee, it is good when our life is simple, simple living, higher thinking. From spiritual point of view, from this path, from the point of view of this path of bhakti yoga, it is good. But from the point of view of Vishayi, one who is trying to just to enjoy his senses, it is not good. So some people, they can try to create problems for us, but in some cases we can get best use from these so-called problems. It goes like this. Also, we have verse number 18. Verse number 18. And in this verse number 18, Akrura is saying, "The unfallible Lord will not consider me an enemy, even though Kamsa has sent me here as his messenger. After all, the omniscient Lord is the actual knower of the field of this material body, and with his perfect vision he witnesses, both externally and internally, all the endeavors of the conditioned soul's heart." Purport. Being omniscient, Lord Krishna knew that Akrura was only externally a friend of Kamsa. Internally, he was an eternal devotee of Lord Krishna. So this point is also very important regarding our relationships with Supreme, that Supreme Lord, he knows our intentions. We're trying to serve, we're trying to perform our devotional service. And sometimes we succeed, sometimes we fail, sometimes we're able to go to do nice service, sometimes we fail. But Supreme Lord, he knows not only external part of our life, he knows not only about our successes and fails, and he is not about to judge us only on the basis of our achievements. He knows our intentions also. And his opinion about us is based not only on our external achievements, but also on what we were trying to achieve, what intentions we had. So it is important. So here, Akrura, he is saying about this, that I know that Supreme Lord is Bhavagrahi Janardana. Bhavagrahi Janardana. He knows what is in my heart, what is my intention, and he pays attention to this intention. And even if externally it looks like I'm a messenger of Kamsa, internally he knows the whole situation. So internally he knows that that I'm a good person. I am a good person. It is important for Bhakti Yoga to be a good person in the eyes of Supreme Lord. It is really important to be on the bright side. Verse number 12. Verse number 12. Akrura is saying, "All sins are destroyed and all good fortune is created by the Supreme Lord's qualities, activities, and appearances. And words that describe these three things animate, beautify, and purify the world. On the other hand, words bereft of his glories are like the decorations on a corpse." So here Akrura, what he is doing, he is glorifying the process of Shravanam Kirtanam. It is important to meditate on his qualities. And it is actually what he is doing. He is meditating on Krishna's qualities before he arrives to Krishna's place, when he is on the way. So this journey, because of that, because of his spiritual consciousness, his journey became his spiritual practice. Not just journey, not just like sometimes people, they are traveling, and during the traveling, they are not thinking about anything, just looking in the window and looking, okay, we're going from one place to another. He is meditating. So the same way, devotee also can engage his time, use his time properly in Krishna consciousness. Actually, there is no lost time for a devotee. There is no lost hours or lost minutes of his time, because he always takes his japa mala with himself. Japa mala and Srila Prabhupada's book. And even if some small time is free, or you are waiting for someone or for something, there is no use just to sit and to do nothing. You can read something from the book, or you can chant some more mantras or rounds if the circumstances are allowing you to do this. So there is no lost time for a devotee. So the same way here, Akrura, he is on the way to Krishna's place, and he is meditating on Krishna, and he gets this spiritual benefit. Purport, Srila Sridhara Swami brings up the following possible objection. How can one who is devoid of ordinary ego, who is fully self-satisfied, engage in pastimes? The answer is given here. Lord Krishna acts on the pure spiritual platform for the pleasure of his loving devotees, not for any kind of mundane gratification. So it is the reason why Supreme Lord comes on this earth. Паритранaya sadunam vinashaya chadushkritam. Dharma samsthapanarthaya sambhavami yuge yuge. It is the reasons why Krishna came on this planet 5,000 years ago, or Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came on this planet 500 years ago. Paritranaya sadunam means to annihilate. Paritranaya sadunam means to protect devotees. Vinashaya chadushkritam, to annihilate asuras. To annihilate asuras physically in case of Krishna's appearance, or to annihilate demoniac consciousness when we're speaking about Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. In both cases, vinashaya dushkritam. Dushkritinaha means bad behavior, and means those who are behaving badly. And dharma samsthapanarthaya means to give yuga dharma. So he gives yuga dharma, he gives memory of his pastimes each and every time when he arrives on this planet, Supreme Lord. He does it, but the first reason why he comes in this material world is for pleasure of his loving devotees, Paritranaya Sadunam, for their pleasure to interact with him face to face when he is on the planet, and for their pleasure after Krishna disappears from a particular planet of particular universe, for pleasure of his devotees. The devotees are able to remember of Krishna by discussing his pastimes, by discussing his leelas. So leelas are also manifested for the pleasure of his loving devotees. His appearance for his loving devotees, leelas for his loving devotees. Well, Shastric prescriptions are for everyone, Yuga Dharma for everyone, but leelas for loving devotees. And to understand the essence and the nature of these leelas, because it is meant for loving devotees, one has to be a devotee to understand the nature of particular leela. That's why it is not recommended, for example, to read or to discuss Rasa Lila dance when someone is not spiritually mature enough. Or it is not so much recommended to discuss Krishna's pastimes without bona fide purports for 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. These explanations are really needed because these leelas are meant for his loving devotees. And because it is meant for his loving devotees, only his loving devotees are able to understand what it is all about. That's why it is important if we ourselves are devotees, and also if other devotees who are much more elevated than we are, they are explaining us the meaning of these pastimes. That's why it is important. And finally, verse number 27, where it is said, Deham britam iyan artho hitva dambham biyam shucham. Sandeshad yo harer linga darshana shravana diphihi. The very goal of life of all embodied being in this ecstasy, which Akrura experienced when, upon receiving Kamsa's order, he put aside all pride, fear, lamentation, and absorbed himself in seeing, hearing, and describing the things that reminded him of Krishna. So it is how Antaranga Shakti works. Antaranga Shakti, or spiritual energy. When we are in contact with spiritual energy, with different manifestations of Antaranga Shakti in this world, different manifestations of spiritual mercy in this world, means holy name, prasadam, deities, Vaishnava Sangha, etc., etc. Srila Prabhupada's books. When we are in touch with this, when we are in contact with this, there is no more lamentation, there is no more fear. It disappears somewhere. And regarding pride, well, pride is quite powerful, anartha, undesirable quality. But anyway, step by step, we also become more humble, being under guidance of our spiritual master. And these qualities, pride, fear, lamentation, also greed, lust, anger, and many, many other different qualities are not beneficial for spiritual advancement. So in some cases, we are able to give up some qualities or some habits just by our own voluntarily decision. In some cases, we have to pray to Supreme Lord that please help me to become free from such and such my habit or quality. And in some cases, just when we are in this particular spiritual atmosphere, this particular spiritual atmosphere of Shravanam Kirtanam makes us free from fear, lamentation. So it is good and it is natural for us that we feel ourselves being parts and parcels of Krishna just because of Shravanam and Kirtanam. When we are practicing Shravanam Kirtanam in this particular period of time, in this particular moment, here and now, we feel no fear, no lamentation. When we stop this process, when we come back to our day-to-day activities, then we again under influence of material atmosphere. That's why it is important to chant holy names regularly, to read Srila Prabhupada's books regularly, just in order to recharge our spiritual batteries. We recharge our spiritual batteries, and when we do it, then we feel ourselves much more better. And when we feel ourselves much more better, it is also easier for us to understand this message that Srila Prabhupada left for us in his books. And in purport, Srila Prabhupada's disciples, they are writing, Srila Vishwanatha Chakravarti explains that Akrura gave up fear by openly showing his love and reverence for Krishna, even though he or his family might have been punished by the angry Kamsa. Akrura gave up his pride in being an aristocratic member of society and worshipped the coward residents of the simple village of Vrindavana, and he gave up lamenting for his house, wife, and family, which were in danger from King Kamsa. Giving up all these things, he rolled in the dust of the lotus feet of God. So actually, in our own spiritual life, we also sometimes have to go through similar things. Means the same way like Akrura, he was openly showing his love and reverence for Krishna, even though he or his family might have been punished by angry Kamsa, or he or his family might have the same way. In our case, our family also might have been not able to understand what kind of spiritual life we are trying to have. But if one is sincere, he doesn't take it as a serious impediment for his spiritual life. Anyway, he or she, they just go on with Krishna consciousness. And also, we have to give up our pride, our material pride. We can have some material position in material world, but in spiritual life, we practice humility before Vaishnavas, and it is prescribed for us to feel ourselves to be full number one before spiritual master. It is prescribed just to feel ourselves to be full number one. It is not prescribed to be full number one. It is just prescribed to feel ourselves to be full number one, but we should, at the same time, we should be intelligent people. And also lamentation about different material attachments, it also goes away gradually, step by step, when we develop our attachment to spiritual life. Vishaya vinivartante nirahara dehinach. Raso varjam raso pyasya param drishtva vartate. It means that the attachment that have inferior nature can be conquered by developing higher taste. If we have no higher taste for spiritual life, then we can, for example, we can avoid materialistic activities. But if we have no taste for spiritual activities, then anyway, in our own mind, we will be thinking about these material objects. But if we develop higher taste for spiritual life, and we can develop this higher taste by practicing Shravanam Kirtanam, following Akrura's example, we can do it, and because of that, this higher taste will be developed, and different lamentations about our attachments also will go away and will not bother us, or these attachments will be spiritualized. Previously, we could see our relatives just to be our own relatives, and now, because of Krishna's consciousness, we are able to see the same people around us as members of Vasudeva Kutumbakam. Vasudeva Kutumbakam means the members of this universal family, or family where the Supreme Father is Lord Krishna, and all other living beings are just sons and daughters of the Supreme Father. So it is very blissful process to follow this path which Srila Prabhupada gave us by his causeless mercy. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And now, if you have some questions or comments or thoughts, you please share it with us. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for your wonderful lesson, wonderful session. तो आप में से कोई प्रश्न है तो आप हैंडल कर सकते हैं. You can take question one by one. Yes, अमित सिंह नेम से जो है वो अनम्यूट कर सकते हैं.
Oh, Haribol. Hare Krishna, young man.
आप अनम्यूट कर लीजिए.
Hare Krishna Prabhu ji.
Hare Krishna, nice to see you. Good morning.
गुड मॉर्निंग, पंचन प्रणाम. मेरा ये प्रश्न है कि हम लोग अपनी व्हाट इज द स्ट्रेस ऑफ आवर लाइफ.
Aha. Amit Balaram Prabhuji, I didn't understand the question. Can you explain?
Prabhuji, my question is what is the stress of life?
Stress of life?
Yes.
Means you are asking why we experience stress in our life, or what? This you want to
Yes,
know?
yes.
Ah, well, this life, material life, is stressful just because you see, if everything will be ideal here, then no one would like to go back to Krishna. So it is the way how Krishna is motivating us to go back to his spiritual abode, where anyway is much more better than here. So there is negative motivation, there is positive motivation. Positive motivation means there is nectarian pastimes of Krishna, there is prasadam, there are nice Vaishnavas. And there is negative motivation that if you will not follow the spiritual path, anyway you will face some sufferings which are unavoidable, because this material world is created in such way. It is not created for enjoyment. It is not created for enjoyment anyway. So if we chant holy names of Supreme Lord, we can become closer to Krishna. And in Bhagavad Gita, in the 13th chapter, in one of the purports, Srila Prabhupada, he is writing that if we will not have negative motivation, we will not become serious in spiritual life. Both motivations are needed. Positive one and negative one. Usually, if only positive motivation is given and negative motivation is not given, then people are not serious in spiritual life for long term, in long term meaning. So that is the answer. Nice to see you, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Thank you
Hare
very much, Prabhuji.
Krishna. Thank you for coming. Thank you for coming.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Next,
And thank you,
Rekha Mataji
Prabhuji,
from-
for telling me the answer.
Okay. Are you satisfied with the answer?
Yes.
Okay, Hare Krishna Prabhu. Some more questions
Hare
or
Krishna.
thoughts, please?
Prabhuji, Hare Krishna, Dandavat
Yeah.
Pranam. Thank you so much, Prabhuji, for the nectar lecture. My question over here is that practical question where one of the person is unwell, but and maybe how many days he would stay, not exactly, we cannot predict on that, but when we wanted him to chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra, he said he would. But the problem over here is that he is very loudly saying that Lord Shiva is the supreme personality and no one is greater than him or lesser than him. So now, by understanding that the time is less, and what is your suggestion, Prabhuji, for this? We should just be quiet and like see, or any other suggestions you would like to suggest, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam.
That person who you are speaking about, he is who? He is your
One,
guest?
one of the family friend,
Family friend. Means he
Yes.
is staying with you or he is staying outside?
No, not staying with us, somewhere else. But then when we thought that as he has very less days, so it's always better that that consciousness of Krishna comes to him. And if at all, before he leaves his body, he's able to understand the reality of life, and he starts chanting and he meditates upon Lord Krishna. So it will be definitely good for the soul. So any suggestions you would like to give, Prabhu?
Suggestion is, the main suggestion in this situation is just to feed them Krishna prasadam. When when person is not ready to discuss the philosophy, and also it is usually it doesn't work. Usually it doesn't work when you are trying to convince someone against his will. There is a poetry, English poetry. One who is convinced against his will is of the same opinion still. Maybe you have heard of this. It is some of British poet. He wrote this. He wrote this. So well, you can give prasadam to him. Also, if to speak about philosophy, or if we're trying to change his consciousness, usually it is recommended to arrange his meeting with some really powerful devotees. Powerful devotees, not in the sense that they will be convincing, not in such way, but some really pure and deep and loving devotee. And of course, previously I would recommend you to arrange his darshan with His Holiness Gopala Krishna Goswami Maharaj, but now I cannot recommend you this option. There is no this option anymore. Unfortunately, physically it is not available. But anyway, his glory is such, Guru Maharaja's glory is such that he was able to not just to convince, just in his presence. In his presence, the hearts of people, they were changing, just because of his qualities. Just because of his qualities, of his atmosphere, because of that, basically there was no need to externally convince. People, they were able to feel something, and they were changing their minds. So if you will find some kind of such powerful Vaishnava, and if this person is not really against to meet such Vaishnava, why not? But basically, if to speak about ourselves and about our own spiritual level, better just not to touch all these religious subject matters, just in order not to spoil the relationships. Because, well, to convince a person, you can try to convince by logic, by Shastra, and so on and so on. Usually it doesn't work. Usually one is convinced by the qualities of a person and by how a person behaves toward us and what is his attitude. Usually if someone has a good attitude to us, then automatically this person is nice for us. It works like this. And also there are divisions of faith. You can read the 17th chapter of Bhagavad Gita and you will see that there are different divisions of faith according to which combination of modes of material nature is influencing on one's heart. So basically, it is really it is powerful thing, someone's faith, because it is based on the experience of this life, on the experience of previous lives. And also, Krishna is explaining this in Bhagavad Gita, that he himself is supporting, is maintaining this faith, which is inside one's heart, in the heart of Muslim, in the heart of Christian, in the heart of Shiva worshipper, and so on and so on. So how we can conquer Krishna? Krishna is maintaining this faith in the heart of a living entity. Living entity, he made his choice, and because of that choice, particular combination of modes of material nature is influencing on his heart. And because of that particular mindset is there, and this mindset, because we're Anu, we're very small, we're very insignificant, we have no power, we have no energy to to establish ourselves, to be fixed in some mindset, in some faith. We don't have, we are very small. Because of that, Krishna helps to do this. Krishna is maintaining this faith in everyone's heart. So, okay, let them remain Shiva worshipper, but anyway, without any philosophy, without any discussions, just by taking Krishna prasadam, anyway, he gets some benefit. And if you will find some devotee who you suppose he really will be able to influence on this Shiva worshipper, and also if you are really sure that this Shiva worshipper will not offend will not offend this devotee, because otherwise it is dangerous for this Shiva worshipper. Then better let him worship Shiva and take Krishna prasadam. It will be, the situation will be much more safe for him. So, but anyway, if you are sure that you found someone and you can arrange some meeting, and this meeting will not be just that this devotee will be trying to make Hare Krishna person from Shiva worshipper openly, but it will be just like some gentle and pleasant talk about life, about relatives, about weather, about what kind of life this Shiva worshipper is living. Maybe it can influence, because externally this subject matters that are discussed, it looks like it is something mundane, but if there is bhakti in the heart of a devotee, then this bhakti is influencing on that person, even if subject matter which is discussed is not obviously really related to Krishna. Well, basically everything is related to Krishna because everything comes from Krishna, but it doesn't mean that we have to discuss everything. We should be selectable in that sense. Hare Krishna, thank you very much for the question.
Hare Krishna.
Hare
Thank you so much.
Krishna. Hare Bol.
Guruji, there is one question in chat box. Can we take it?
Question in the chat box. Okay, let's see. Okay. Sakshi Chaturvedi. Wait, what's going on? Sometimes it's become difficult to do the sadhana in non-devotees family, especially on holiday or vacations, because when everyone come together, there is more responsibility and criticization. Interesting word, criticization. Also, so how to perform the sadhana in this situation? Well, rule number one, you have to have your own room. Your own room in this house. If you live all together in the same space, basically no chance. Just relax and get pleasure from this how to say, from this association, if you are able, if this association is pleasant. Our main rule is to chant holy names of God. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he is saying, Nam Namakari Bahudhani Jasarva Shaktis. There is no strict rules for chanting. It means that ideally we should chant in morning hours, but sometimes we have to go on compromise. Sometimes. If we do it just sometimes, then it is more or less normal. If we do it on regular basis, it is problem. So if it is sometimes, because you are writing here, sometimes it's become difficult. It means sometimes you face this situation. Then some adjustments can be there. You can chant in the period of time when you are able to chant, or you can go, if you have no space where you're living all together, you can go somewhere in city park, for example, nice weather and fresh air, and you can go there with Japamala and chant holy names, why not? But of course, you are saying about responsibility, it is some elaboration is needed here. What kind of responsibility is mentioned here? What kind of responsibility? Just please clarify. What does it mean, the responsibility? What is included in this responsibility? Sakshi Chaturvedi, please tell me.
I think Mataji is not, he's not available, Prabhuji.
Maybe Mataji is not available. Okay.
Like family responsibility.
Like family responsibility. Okay. Hare Krishna. Okay, do your family responsibility and go and chant Hare Krishna. I don't know what is the problem. It's just the question of time management. It is just question of time management. 16 rounds should be done, especially if you took the vow to chant 16 rounds, or I don't know how many rounds you chant. Rounds should be chanted. If you have too much family responsibility, maybe you can delegate something to your family members, especially to those who are not chanting, because you have responsibility to chant holy names, and some people they still don't have this responsibility, so let them take another kind of responsibility. It is question of house management and time management. Ultimately, material world is not the ideal place for these things, for spiritual activities. Means we are just acting in the circumstances that we have. If we will be just waiting for ideal circumstances for our spiritual life, then our spiritual life will never begin, because we'll never have some really ideal circumstances. There are always some points. Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for the question. Hare Bol. Okay.
Hare Krishna. Thank you very much, Prabhuji.
Should we stop here, right?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can stop here. I think there is no more question.
Hare Krishna.
So let us.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to preach. For the opportunity to preach on behalf of Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.